We're back here at 7:14. When it comes to tipping, the latest numbers show Americans are tipping more money in more places than ever before.
But we found not everybody's feeling so generous about it. Many are taking to social media to complain that the technology used now leads to guilt tipping. Boston 25's Mark Ockerbloom takes a closer look at the backlash.
New technology used for paying when you grab a bite to eat can be convenient, but it can also get a little awkward when it comes to those screens that pop up for tips.
So they just have it facing you all the time. I'm sure they can see on the screen if you left them a tip or not.
I feel like that they should allow you to make the decision depending how they treat you, and I feel like that it should be private.
When it comes to tipping, one size definitely does not fit all.
And I usually do. I usually leave a tip.
It doesn't bother me. There's usually a no tip section.
If it's a Dunkin' Donuts, that'd be okay. They sometimes seem to jack up the amount that they want for a tip, yeah.
I think everybody should tip a lot, so go for that far right button and tip.
Like it or not, bigger tips are the trend, according to Square, the company that makes many of those screens you see. Total tips received in the fourth quarter of last year jumped more than 16% in full-service restaurants and almost as much at quick-service restaurants compared to 2021. And that's with inflation pinching wallets.
In the typical restaurant scenario where you're being served a meal, obviously a tip is expected, and it would be pretty poor etiquette not to, unless the service or food was just absolutely horrendous.
Somerville-based ConsumerWorld.org founder Edgar Dworsky says what's changing are the new opportunities to tip, where typically it was not expected in the past.
You're being pressured to tip when you may not have done it before. So if you're taking out food, someone takes food off the shelf and they hand you the bag, and then you're asked to do a tip. I think people are kind of feel put upon by that, feel pressured to give when they normally wouldn't, and they may be embarrassed if they don't.
Industry experts say the higher recommendations on screen for tips can be a way for restaurants to retain service employees in a tough job market.
So this is a backdoor way of keeping the published menu prices down, but subsidizing that pay rate for the employees. That's what this game is about.
But Howard and Dworsky both say consumers don't have to play the game if they don't want to.
Don't feel guilty about it. Tip what you think is appropriate, and if you don't think it's appropriate, just don't do it.
Dworsky says one tipping rule you should always follow: base your tip on the pre-sales tax amount, not the total with tax at the bottom of your bill. Mark Ockerbloom for your local station, Boston 25 News.